of Imam Nawawi, and tonight the hadith of 33 to 37. 33 to 37. Inshallah, tomorrow will be the last day. Inshallah, tomorrow uh, to the very end to 42. Bismillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on Friday we have a quiz with some refreshments. Inshallah.
Bismillah, Hadith 33. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, were people to be given whatever they claimed, men would claim the property and wives of others. However, the onus of proof is upon the claimant, and taking of an oath is upon him who denies. Hadith 34. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu said, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, if any of you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand, and if he is not able to do so, then with his tongue, and if he's not able to do so, then with his heart, and that is the weakest of Iman. Hadith 35. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, do not envy one another, and do not inflate prices for one another, and do not hate one another, and do not turn away from one another, and do not undercut one another in trade, but rather be slaves to Allah and brothers to each other. A Muslim is the brother of a Muslim. He does not oppress him, fail him, lie to him, or hold him in contempt. Taqwa is here, and he pointed to his chest 3 times. It is enough evil for someone to hold his Muslim brother in contempt. All of a Muslim is inviolable to another Muslim, his blood, property, and all. Hadith 36. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever removes a hardship from a believer in his world, Allah will remove the hardship for him in the day of resurrection. Whoever helps a person in need, Allah will elevate his needs in this world and the hereafter. Whoever shields or hides the misdeeds of a Muslim, Allah will shield him in his world and the hereafter. Allah will aid his servant so long as he aids his brother. And whoever follows a path in order to seek knowledge, Allah will make easy for him a path to Jannah. No people gather together in front of Allah in the houses of Allah, reciting the book of Allah and studying it among themselves, except that tranquility descends upon them. Mercy envelops them, the angels surround them, and Allah mentions them amongst those who are with him. And whoever is held back by his actions, he will not be hastened forward by his lineage. Hadith 37. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, narrated that about his Lord, most sublime and exalted. Verily, Allah has written down the good deeds and the evil deeds. And then explained, if someone intends to perform a good deed but does not do it, then Allah writes it down with himself as a complete good deed. And if he intends to perform it and does actually perform it, then Allah writes it down with himself as 10 good deeds, up to 700 times, up to as many times multiplied. And if he intends to perform an evil deed, but does not do it, then Allah writes it down himself as a complete good deed. And if he intends it and actually performs it, then Allah writes it down as one evil deed.
Bismillah. So these hadith are related to different topics. One of them is related to qada, judging, and two hadith related to Muslims, how they should treat each others, and a hadith about how to fix a mistake if somebody notices. And the last hadith is about the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concerning hasanat and sayyat. The first hadith is very essential for qada. Somebody is a judge, this is going to be guidance. If everybody claims anything, immediately he will be granted that, then people will claim unjustly the property and the wealth and the blood of other people. But in Islam, there are two things. If somebody claims something, he must bring an evidence. It is his responsibility to bring an evidence. So the claimant, the one who's claiming, should bring an evidence. And the one who denies it should take an oath. So this is the foundation of qada. Now, if somebody claims that somebody, let us say, took some money from him, and the other person agrees immediately, then there is no need for an evidence, because he agrees. He says, yeah, I took that money from him, but I cannot pay it now. Give me like a respite or something, so I pay it. But if the other party says, no, I did not take from him money, then it is the responsibility of the first part to bring the evidence. Number one, to bring the evidence. Then after he brings the evidence, then if he doesn't bring the evidence, then the other party can take an oath and the case is dismissed. But if he brings an evidence, then it is duty of the judge to decide whether that evidence is valid, makes sense, etc. What the other person says, etc. Then that is the qada where the judge interferes. We have in Islam three things. We have peace, reconciliation, and we have second step, arbitration, which is tahkim, and the third is the qada, judging. The first one is very easy. Muslims just have peace between each other, reconcile their issues. Maybe some good people interfere. Then the problem is solved without qada. And that is the easiest, and wasulhu khair. People will leave while everybody is happy almost. The second level, when people disagree and they cannot solve it between each other, but they choose a Muslim to judge between them. This is not a qadi, just a Muslim to decide what should happen. And this is tahkim, arbitration. This is tahkim. Now, if that is not working, then they have to go to a qadi. The qadi is more educated usually, in general, but could be the arbitrator, could have the knowledge. But what is important about the qadi, he has the law enforcement. So if somebody disobeys his judgment, then he will be locked up or he will be punished by that. So the best thing is to solve the issues among Muslims, reconciliation, and this is tahkim. Inshallah, we'll talk about it in the coming khutbah, idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second hadith is about seeing a bad deed. If somebody sees something, then let him change it by his hand. If he cannot, then his tongue. If he cannot, then by his heart. And this is the weakest iman. In some narrations, there is no iman after that, even small atom or small seed of a mustard seed. This hadith maybe sometimes is misunderstood. That any bad deed we should start by hand. Because the hadith says if somebody sees something bad, you should change it. And we know that there is an order in any society, either here in American society or Muslim society, because there is an order and you cannot change and you cannot take law or apply law by hand immediately. So here scholars say it is based on the responsibility. So if my neighbor's daughter, for example, is not wearing hijab, I cannot drag her from her house out in the street and say go because the messenger said if you see something bad you have to take it. Or somebody who's drunk in the street, and he's carrying a gun, like go and grab him. It's not my responsibility. That is the responsibility of the police, and that is the responsibility of the father. So the hadith, to be understood, it is based on the level of the responsibility of the person. So if somebody sees something bad, let him change it by his hand if it is under his authority. Your house, you are head of a department, you are head of a state, somebody in law enforcement, somebody. So it is based on the responsibility. Now, if it is not your responsibility directly, you can give the advice. And the advice has different levels. Sometimes it is not an advice, it is an order. The father has a say, or an older brother or a mother in the house, more than a younger brother, perhaps the older one. So you can order, you can give the advice, but also according to the level. If somebody cannot even speak, and it might happen that somebody cannot even speak, then at least to deny it in his heart. To say in his heart, oh Allah, for example, I don't accept that, in the heart. Because somebody might reach a moment when he cannot even say something openly or oppose. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. And that is the weakest of iman. So the minimum that a Muslim should have is denying the munkar, the bad act, the sin in the heart. This is the minimum. But you can go up saying something or changing by hand. The next two hadith are advices to Muslims, how they should treat each other. Very inclusive advices, comprehensive, talks about different things. Hadith 35, لا تحاسدوا, don't envy, ولا تناجشوا. We have najash. Najash is bad practice when people are bidding on something. I want to sell something, for example, this phone. It's worth, for example, $100. And I hired one of my friends to deceive the audience. So immediately I say, who will buy this phone? And so we're talking about 20, 30, some people bidding and adding. Immediately he says, it is 80. And somebody gets, oh wow, that means it is very expensive. He says 90, and my friend says 100. Then he keeps to deceive the audience who don't have the experience. So this is najash, and it is forbidden. وَلَا تَنَاجَسُوا وَلَا تَبَغَضُوا, don't hate each other's. وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا, don't turn your back to each other's. Don't boycott each other's. وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ, don't sell, don't buy if somebody is already involved in a transaction. So if you know that there are two people already that are involved in a transaction and they agree, a Muslim should not come and overbid or pay more in order to take it. Why? Scholars say because that will create hatred. I want to buy a phone or buy a car, and I agree with somebody to buy it for 2,000. But somebody out of a sudden comes. We have already the agreement. We have already the agreement. He's not bidding. He's not negotiating. You can come at the time of the negotiation. But after agreeing, then somebody says, okay, I want to buy it for 3,000. So that will create hatred because somebody ruined my transaction. وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, be all of you slaves of Allah, brothers. الْمُسْلِمُ أَخُو الْمُسْلِمِ, the Muslim is a brother to his brother. لَا يَظْلِمُهُ, should not oppress him. وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ, should not fail him. For example, nowadays what's going on in Palestine, and the failure of the Ummah to support those people who are oppressed. People are killed. Unfortunately, we are reading this hadith and we cannot. So every Muslim should do what he can within his capacity. We connect it to other hadith within the capacity of each one in order to support, spreading the awareness, supporting with money, financially through legitimate charitable organizations, calling, congressmen, whatever somebody is able to. And it is also applied to our relatives overseas. I guess many of us have relatives overseas, and many of them sometimes go through some difficulties. And the next hadith will talk about relieving the difficulty of somebody, easing the difficulty of somebody. And if somebody aids his brother in this dunya, Allah will be in his help on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So all of the wealth that we have in our hands sometimes, or being in a position, being in a place, if somebody uses that to help people, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support him. In a time or in a moment when he's looking for and he's seeking the help of somebody else. Wallahu ta'ala. And also the messenger adds, and he should not tell lies to him, he should not humiliate him. Then he pointed to his heart and he said, At-taqwa huna. Taqwa, it is in the heart. So all of what we do is connected to the heart. And this concept has been repeated more than one time, that in the previous hadith, that there is a piece of flesh in the body. If it is sound, then the whole body is sound and good. And if it is corrupted, so all of that motive comes from the heart. If somebody has qalb salim, believing in Allah and His reward, then that will influence his acts. Then the Messenger ﷺ condemns when a Muslim humiliates another Muslim and reminds us that the wealth, the property, everything is haram of another Muslim is haram. Next hadith, whoever eases the pain, relieves a Muslim from a difficulty, Allah will do the same to him on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever conceals the mistake of a Muslim, whoever conceals the mistake of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his mistakes on Yawm al-Qiyamah. If there is a Muslim who is known to be good, but it happens that he commits a mistake, it is our duty as a community to conceal his mistake, not to expose. But if somebody is evil and he's known to be evil, then you can warn people from him. Because somebody might not, for example, a new person comes to the community and somebody is known to be evil. Say, be careful from that person. I noticed that you're hanging out with him or you want to partner with him. And that person has many cases already in the court, because of money, for example. So this is allowed in Islam, and it is not backbiting. This is not backbiting. However, if there is a Muslim who commits a mistake and he is known to be good, then it is our duty to conceal the mistake and not to expose. So we have to be accurate, and there is a thin line between it, when to conceal the mistake of someone and when to speak about it. And of course, those who deserve the most are those who are close to us, siblings, cousins, wives, children. Try to conceal the mistakes as much as we can. Then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned something about seeking knowledge. Inshallah, all of you will be included in this hadith, coming to attend this hadith of Salah. That if someone seeks a path, takes a path to seek knowledge, Allah will facilitate for him a path to Jannah. And if a group of people gather in one of the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reciting the Quran, or studying its sciences, any science, which is included in hadith, which is the explanation and application of the Quran, then tranquility will come down on them, and the mercy of Allah will encompass them and envelop them, and the malaika will surround them, and Allah will mention their names in front of the malaika. Finally, the hadith concludes, وَمَنْ أَبْطَأَ بِهِ عَمَلُهُ لَمْ يُسْرِعْ بِهِ نَسَبُهُ. What a rhythm and nice statement of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very nice in Arabic, like the eloquence of you taste the beauty. وَمَنْ أَبْطَأَ بِهِ عَمَلُهُ لَمْ يُسْرِعْ بِهِ نَسَبُهُ. Whoever's deeds slow him down, his lineage will not make him fast. If somebody's deeds are holding him back and making him slow and going to Jannah, his lineage and honor and reputation and the family name, nobility will not help him move forward to Jannah. The last hadith is about the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this ummah. Remember that the lifespan of this ummah is very short in comparison to nations before us who used to live long time. However, Ummah Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because of these opportunities, they have many opportunities to make them the first ummah that comes on Yawm al-Qiyamah in Jannah, and at least half of people who will go to Jannah will be from the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have many opportunities. Ramadan is an opportunity. The day of the Eid, the day of Arafah, the day of Ashura, all of these are opportunities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compensated this ummah because we live shorter than previous ummahs. And He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أعمار أمتي ما بين 60 و70. The ages of my ummah are between 60 and 70. So if somebody intends, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote down the hasanat and sayyat. If somebody intends to do, has the intention to do something good, but he doesn't do it. I'm thinking about calling my uncle, but he doesn't do it. That would be a hasanah. Just thinking positively is hasanah. Just be positive and think positively. If somebody says, if I have wealth, I will help that family. If I have something, I will help those people. That will be rewarded immediately, just the intention. And if someone intends good and he does good, it will be 10 times the minimum, and it will be multiplied up to 700. Even some people will get more. So the minimum of a hasana will be 10 times, including your salah that you pray, Salat al-Isha. So Salat al-Isha already has written the minimum 10 times. Praying in Jama'ah, more. Praying in Mecca, more. Sincerity and the difficulty of somebody, more and more. So people will have the minimum 10 and they will go more than that. If somebody intends to do something bad, imagine that somebody says, I want to do that bad thing. Then he changes. Some scholars said by himself. Others said in any way, even if somebody interrupts him. Somebody was planning to do something bad, and somebody came in. Somebody wanted to steal or to look at something, and somebody came in. And then he changed his mind. Some scholars said, even that. Other scholars said, no, by himself. If he says, no, this is wrong, I'm not going, then that will be a hasan. That will be a hasan because he did not do the bad thing. Although shaitan tries to whisper, somebody around him advises him, and he was almost tempted to do that, then that is a hasan because he did not do the bad. And if he does it, it will be one bad sin. It will be written. Very, very generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us. And Surah Al-An'am, man ja'a bil hasanati falahu ashru amthala. If somebody brings one good deed, it will be written 10 times. Subhanallah. Again, this is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to this. So now ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us about those who think positively about good deeds, even if we don't do it. Just imagine and think and be always positive in our thoughts. And number 2, try to do as much as we can of the good deeds. Tomorrow, inshallah, 38 to 42. Inshallah, we'll conclude the last session. Jazakumullah khair. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.